Hello, everyone. It's such a beautiful morning, and honestly, it feels so good, so happy, so full of anticipation and excitement. The script for today, it's already been in my head since last night. Before going to sleep, I took a moment to reflect on the things I was going to share today, and I don't know why, but I felt this deep sense of satisfaction. I hope that all of you can, in some way, feel what I'm feeling right now. The vibe, the atmosphere, the state I'm in. It's something joyful, meaningful, and full of happiness. Now let's dive into today's main topic. We're going to talk about procrastination. Procrastination is one of those issues so many people struggle with. Because in reality, if you study the brain, you'll see that laziness is almost the very first state that comes up whenever we want to do something. Don't believe me? Right now, if you had to choose between lying down and watching TV or working on building a website, which one would you pick? Of course, some people would choose the website, but who would dare to boldly declare that the majority would pick work over lounging around? Never. Sitting on the sofa, scrolling through your phone, watching TV, or even playing games, those are the things people naturally prefer. So clearly, when it comes to choosing between laziness and effort, the majority of people lean toward laziness. It's just unavoidable. And what's funny is procrastination is deeply connected to what I just said. Why do so many people's houses end up messy? Tables full of clutter, things scattered everywhere, and yet no one cleans up? We keep telling ourselves, I'll clean tomorrow. But tomorrow comes, and nothing. I'll do it this weekend. And then the weekend comes and still nothing. That's procrastination in action. Why does this happen? Because there's this strong link between our tendency to go after things that are easy, comfortable, exciting, even addictive. When you think about behaviors like gaming or scrolling on our phones, we like those things much more than other activities. And even though something isn't really that hard, it just has to be not enjoyable, not comfortable, and suddenly we don't want to do it anymore. That's how I explain it once again. Honestly, I've shared this many times before, but I wanted to spend a few minutes repeating it so that we can really understand the mechanism of why we procrastinate when it comes to different tasks. Most of the time, it's because doing the thing requires us to step into a space of discomfort. A space where we have to push ourselves, exert effort, break away from that chill state. And naturally, that makes us want to procrastinate. There are so many examples. Take exercise, for instance. Is it good? Obviously, yes. But a lot of people don't work out. Not because that they don't want to, but because exercising forces them to do something. And usually the first wave of feelings that come up is discomfort, so people don't do it. Or, to put it more gently, they procrastinate doing it. Right? And it's the same with so many other things, big and small. So, what's the solution? What should we actually do about this? Here's my personal experience. Over time, I've shared lots of methods to overcome procrastination, but the more I reflect on it, the more I feel that each method works best in certain moments. It's kind of like food. Today, you might crave a certain dish and it tastes amazing. But tomorrow, you don't crave it anymore. You want something else. But at the end of the day, whether it's this dish or that dish, as long as you're full and satisfied, you're happy. Right? It's the same with procrastination. That's why I've introduced you to different methods. What I really hope is that you can build your own little collection of mental tools, methods, strategies, so that when you hit a certain moment or challenge, you know which one to pull out and use. And your chances of overcoming procrastination in that moment go way up. It's just like in work. Any given problem can have multiple solutions, right? And hunger. There's not just one food that solves it, there are many. Procrastination is the same. And I want to make this clear. We're not here to worship any single method. Instead, if we have the chance, let's learn as many proven methods as possible, whether they're proven through science or through personal experience. Because in different moments, one method may work better than another. And on the flip side, something that worked really well for you today might lose its impact next week. That's okay, because you'll still have other tools in your toolkit to pull out and use. And little by little, with practice, procrastination quietly fades. That's the spirit I want you to take away today. All right, now let's move on to the solution part. And honestly, it's unbelievably easy. All you need is a piece of paper, a notebook, a sticky note, or even just the Notes app on your phone. Anything works. It's super simple. So simple you might not even believe it. Here's what I want you to write down, word for word. What is something I know I need to do, but right now I don't like doing it, or I don't want to do it? That's it. Just write down that question. And then whenever you're in a relaxed moment, like sipping your coffee, chilling out, enjoying the view, sitting in the park, standing on your balcony, basically any moment when you feel like, yeah, I'm good, I feel fine, ask yourself that question. You don't have to do anything else yet. Just write the question down first. So, what's the task or the responsibility that I know I should do, but right now I don't want to or don't feel like doing? Then list them. Write them out. Task 1, Task 2, Task 3. You don't need to do them. Just list them so that you can actually see them on paper, see them in written words. That way, you bring yourself a little closer to those tasks, a little more familiar with them. Because here's the thing, one of the easiest ways to lighten the weight of something is just to see it written down. Once it's on paper, it already feels like half the burden is gone. Why? Because if you only keep a task in your head, it feels heavy. You can't measure it, you can't evaluate it. You don't know if it's really important or not, how difficult it actually is, how scary it really feels. Instead, what you carry is just this vague, negative emotion that grows as long as it's stuck inside your head. But the moment you write it down, on a page, on a note, you're pulling it out of your mind. You're separating it from yourself. And when you can read it as words on paper, it's no longer the same as this messy, shapeless thing inside your head. You and the words are separate now, right? That separation makes all the difference. Now you're looking at it. Task 1, Task 2, Task 3. These things I know I need to do, but right now I don't feel like it. Now they have shape. They're clear. They're just words in front of you. And here's the powerful part. Once you do this, you've already solved something very important about emotions. You don't feel as weighed down anymore. You don't feel as resistant. And another thing is, this exercise doesn't come with pressure. Nobody's forcing you to solve those tasks. Nobody's demanding you handle them right away. Even for me, I free my own mind by being very clear with myself. At the beginning, all I need to do is write them down. I don't have to do anything else. That way, I let go of the short-term responsibility. I don't feel trapped, pressured, or forced into taking action immediately. It's just a list, so I save my energy. I keep my mental space. But here's the fascinating part. The brain works in mysterious ways. It's always running in the background, always evaluating. So once you've written them down, Task 1, Task 2, Task 3, even if you don't think about them consciously, your brain remembers the list. It holds on to it. And in my personal experience, after a little while, if I keep that piece of paper with me, if I look at it from time to time, my mind will automatically pick out one simple task and just do it. That's it. It'll just happen. For example, let's say I've got a list of 5 things I know I need to do, but I don't feel like doing right now. I wrote it down this morning while having coffee, put it in my pocket. I use sticky notes a lot. They're small, kind of thick, and they fit in my pocket. Later on, I put my hand in my pocket, feel that little bump, pull out the note, read it again, and once I read it, it goes straight back into my head. And here's the thing. Your subconscious will naturally pick one of those tasks, usually the simplest one on the list. And in some random moment of inspiration, you'll just do it. You'll pull it out, use it, handle it. Let me give you an example. Some of you really don't like making phone calls. Maybe you don't like the person you have to call, or maybe you're just introverted and hate calling in general. For whatever reason, you procrastinate on picking up the phone. Fine. Just write that task down. Put it on a sticky note, those little colored ones, yellow, pink, green, with the adhesive strip. Write it down, peel it off, and stick it in your pocket. When you walk around, you'll feel that little bump in your pocket, and it reminds you. You take it out, read it again, Maybe around 9 or 10 in the morning, when you're feeling a little relaxed, washing your face, wandering around, you read the note and suddenly think, oh yeah, I need to call Mr. A to talk about subject B. And in that exact moment, you just grab your phone, dial, and before you know it, you're done. One task completed. That's how it works. That's exactly how it works. Or think about students with assignments. For example, advanced math. You've been putting it off. You haven't finished it. Fine, just write it down. If possible, even keep the textbook or your notebook in your bag. Just write the task down. You don't need to start yet. But your brain will keep running in the background, and in one of those relaxed, guilt-tinged moments, your conscience will kick in. You might just pull out your math notes and start solving problems. It's the same with learning English or anything else. Almost every meaningful thing we procrastinate on, we can try this method. Give yourself the chance to see it, read it, and come into contact with it in the form of words. And by reading that list over and over, eventually the moment will come when you actually want to do it. I even shared this method with a friend of mine who struggled with walking. This friend was overweight and didn't feel healthy. So I told him, look, since you're overweight, I'm not going to tell you to run. First, it's too much for your body. Second, your joints are carrying too much weight. So running might make you uncomfortable, cause pain in your knees or hips, and you'll end up quitting. On top of that, because you're overweight, running could easily leave you exhausted, and your heart and stamina might not be ready for it. Even though running could burn fat faster by pushing your heart into the aerobic zone, it could be dangerous, especially since you haven't had your heart checked. You don't monitor your health, and you're not the type to do medical exams. So instead, let me suggest something simple. Just walk. Every day, walk as much as you can. No limit. Normally, I know we could set targets, 5 kilometers, 8 kilometers, or 10,000 steps. But with this friend, I didn't set a number. Why? Because I knew he'd never make it to 10,000 steps. And he was lazy. He kept procrastinating. So I just skipped the numbers altogether. Every so often, I'd check in. Did you go for a walk today? Usually the answers were excuses. But in reality, if you dig deeper, it wasn't about being busy. It was just procrastination. And honestly, that's something I totally understand. There's nothing to criticize here. It's just human. From the very beginning, I've said this. Once we can explain the reason behind something, suddenly we become more compassionate toward others. Because we understand why they feel the way they do. We can explain it all. Whenever something requires effort, discomfort, or inconvenience, people naturally lean toward procrastination. That's normal. So I showed my friend this method. Ask yourself that one question and try to answer it. At first he said to me, honestly, I didn't believe it. I hate all that self-help nonsense. I don't buy into it. But since you said it, I gave it a try. Otherwise, I already know I'm lazy. I know I procrastinate a lot. So he tried it, even without believing in it. That's how far it went. In the mornings before starting work, around 7:45, 7:50, 8 or 10, in those chill moments before diving in, he'd take out the note. He'd write, what are the tasks I know I need to do but don't want to or don't like doing right now? Then list them. Walking was on that list. And then he'd just leave it there. And then something funny happened. He told me, it was hilarious. A little later, in some random, inspired, relaxed moment, I suddenly wanted to walk, and walking became option number 1 in my head. Even in situations where I used to just sit still, doing nothing, especially when stressed or frustrated, suddenly the word walk popped into my mind. And so instead of sitting in stress, I actually stood up and walked. Maybe not a lot, but I did walk. And from then on, he started to believe in it. He's still practicing. I don't know how long he'll stick with it, but I can confirm, at least in those first weeks, it absolutely worked for him. That's one story from a friend. But from my own life, I can tell you with 100% certainty, this works. It has worked for me in the past, it works for me now, and I know it will work for me in the future. And the more I practice it, the more it builds a deep connection with myself. which means if someone were to ask me right now, "Do you know why you're procrastinating?" I could answer immediately. I know exactly what my current limitations are. That's the state you reach. You understand yourself. Not just the good things, not just the achievements, but also your shortcomings. You understand the ways you procrastinate, the things you avoid. It all becomes clear. That list you wrote, it stays with you, but in a clearer form than before you wrote it down. And unconsciously, throughout the day, your body responds in amazing ways. At some random moment, like a light bulb switching on, you just know this is the right time to tackle one of those tasks. That's been my experience. And I truly hope, I honestly wish that this happens for you too. Because once that happens, procrastination no longer controls your life. Procrastination is like carrying heavy weights. Imagine climbing a mountain while carrying 6, 7, or 8 big rocks on your back. The problem isn't that you need to be stronger or move faster, and you can't shorten the mountain path. There's only one solution: drop the rocks. Let go of the weights. The tasks you procrastinate on are those rocks. The more you can set them down, one by one, the lighter you become, and the faster you move forward. I hope all of you experience that. Thank you so much for listening today. That's it for now. See you in the next episode. Oh, and if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any new episodes. That support gives me the motivation to keep sharing more with you.